So we're here today in Haulbowline Island to bring people from companies, particularly around the area, to come out into nature and to do some physical maintenance of habitats that we've got here around Haulbowline Island, which Wildwork have developed and maintained.
We're here today to learn about managing wildflower meadows and also to learn a little bit about it as a type of activity we can do together with our friends, that it can be quite a sociable thing to do.
Ringaskiddy has a lot of these big companies and they have a lot of green area. And with just a few tweaks in how those green areas are maintained, you can really improve biodiversity.
Everyone in the group is going to get a chance to have a go at topping some docks.
One of the nicest ways that you can maintain a meadow is by cutting it with scythes. So that's basically what we're talking about maintenance. It's cutting and removing the cuttings.
The scythe is actually very efficient. They're wonderful for loads of tasks. Weed control, cutting grasses, meadows, and all you've got to do is learn to use them. They're more enjoyable to use than most other pieces of equipment. The comparable one being a strimmers. You put on your earmuffs and your mask and you get out the petrol and you turn it on and So in sensitive wildlife areas, these are quite a popular thing to use because it doesn't scare the animals.
So meadows are a really important habitat here on Ireland, particularly grassland meadows. Now you might be looking around Ireland and think we've got all the grass that we ever need, but of course this is a specific kind of habitat. We're talking about species-rich grassland meadows, which are those old types of meadows that are full of wildflowers, full of grasses, full of life.
This is so easy to rake up with one of these. This is a grass rake. And very soon you start to end up with piles like haycocks. And these guys are probably more dangerous than the scythes, but this is lightweight material. It's easy to chuck it into the wheelbarrow.
So part of managing these meadows here, after we've cut them, it's really important to take away the cut from it, because if that's left, it'll compost down on the meadow, and that allows grasses, which are really good at taking up nutrients, just to take over. So what we do is we actually take them in and we put them under the trees, and they rot down there. They provide another habitat for insects, for beetles, a great hibernating habitat for hedgehogs. Not much else needs to be done with the trees. They're being fed, a habitat's being created, much like a forest floor where everything falls down and rots away, and you have that habitat just functioning nicely there.
Here on the island of Haulbowline, there are 4 different meadow features on the island. We have a wet grassland, which is sown with wildflower seeds, native Irish wildflower seeds. We have a coastal meadow strip made up of the types of wildflowers that you'd see growing if you walk the coastline here in Cork. And then we have amenity meadow, which is a typical wildflower planting, and that's in 2 different areas. But what has happened, it's been quite interesting here on the park, as we've managed it now over 3 or 4 years. A lot of the seed mixes have kind of spread around naturally, and the stuff that works best is starting to establish. So many of the meadows are starting to, you could call them Haulbowline meadows, they're starting to merge into much the same. For wildlife that uses the park, especially in the winter time, if you walk down here and you come through the wet grassland, you can see loads of snipe that use it for overwintering, and many other bird species as well.
As you get your eye in, you see the variety that's happening here. Soldiers, there you go. Plantain is a really good one for wounds, particularly bites and cuts, but little scratches and everything like that. One of these astringent plants that you can put on. One of the best things for nettle stings. There's absolutely a wellness aspect. It's particularly now that people are working from home a lot. Companies are looking for ways to bring people together once or twice a year, just to develop that community again. And this is a great way to do it.
I have an interest in nature myself, and we're trying to get something going over on site in Carrigaline with a view to kind of meadow management and rewilding and that. So I notice myself where I'm from in the country, the lack of honeybees, so I think that doing the likes of this, it's safeguarding our future. I have a small child at home, and you know, I want the world to be a good place for her when she grows up.
It kept it very interesting, the fact that we were doing bits and pieces and using the tools. It's getting back to olden ways, reducing our waste, and it's also really positive about what difference we can make as individuals or as groups.